fat loss, we're looking for about 1/2 pound per week of actual fat loss. And for muscle gain, we're looking more towards getting closer to 1 pound a week. And the reason for the pound a week is a lot of that pound is going to be water retention gains. So we want to make sure that it's not all going to be actual muscle tissue that you're gaining there. And the reason I'm a little bit more moderate in the fat loss is if you're losing 1 pound a week, a lot of that's going to be water gains, which we know is going to affect your hydration and performance there. Slide, please. Okay, so this was a slide presented by Dr. Bill Campbell from University of South Florida. He was presenting at the Gainz clinic that I went to last year. The Gainz clinic from ISSN last year that I went to. A lot of the other presenters utilize the same slide. So what we're looking at here is right here they started at baseline, and obviously energy intake is 100%. So they took the energy intake down, and you see it got just a little bit below 50%, which is a pretty extreme cut. Okay, well, from that pretty extreme cut, you see fat mass does a nice dive, which is exactly what we want. Fat-free mass, for our purposes, just think muscle. It does a subtle dive, so kind of a favorable environment. But once they get over to here, this is where they start to reintroduce calories, and they only took them back up to 70% of the baseline. And I want you to see at this point in time, even at 70%, so you're still 30% under your original baseline, body fat starts shooting back up, okay? Much faster and much more extreme than the fat-free mass or the muscle. All right, so then they did a stepwise where you see the dotted line come over and then up and over again. By the time they got to 100%, you see the discrepancy here? The guy actually has, and this is an analysis of a lot of people, not just one person, they actually find more fat mass and less muscle mass than they started with, even though you went through all this misery right here. Okay, so the restricted is basically that stepwise method back to 100% of baseline. Then it's a Latin term, so forgive my pronunciation, but ad libitum, I hope. This basically means free feeding. So in other words, they said, okay, forget about you need 2,500 calories or whatever a day, eat whatever you feel like, okay? And during this period of time, you see that fat mass just shoot right up, and basically the muscle returns to the original baseline. And it's pretty faded on here, but there's a white line going across there. And this is that hyperphagia. So you see the dotted line for the energy intake. That's that overeating that we talked about a little bit earlier.